Hello, hello, hello. Better Monday sa ating lahat. Ito po si Nico Fabian. Once again, nandito naman po sa programa natin, Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico. And today is June 22. It's a Monday. Bagong week na naman ito po. And let's hope and pray that itong week natin po today, starting today, Monday, hanggang sa Friday, it will be a week that is, sabihin natin, problem-free. Problem-free and prosperous week din. prosperous week din po. So, bago sa lahat, I would like to invite each and every one of you, ang mga kababayan, kapatid at kaibigan ko po dito sa Malaysia, ang mga Filipinos as well as ang mga Malaysian friends natin. I would like to invite each and every one of you dito sa programa natin, Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico. And at the same time, as always, I would like to invite ang mga kababayan, kapatid at kaibigan natin, mga overseas Filipino workers sa iba-ibang parte ng mundo. Kumusta kayo po? And I hope everything is running smoothly sa mga buhay natin, sa buhay ninyo dyan po sa iba-ibang parte ng mundo. And of course, huwag din natin kalimutan to kumusta ang mga kaibigan, kababayan at kapatid natin dyan mismo sa bayan natin of which we call the Philippines. The Philippines po. So, nandito naman tayo and I'm expecting that this week will be another exciting week po dahil maraming mga issues that will be happening dyan po sa Senado, dyan po sa Pilipinas, especially dyan po sa Senado, particularly ang continuation of itong pre-trial impeachment, pre-trial conference of the impeachment of Vice President Inday Sara Duterte. Anong ibig sabihin itong pre-trial conference? In other words po, this is the time wherein both the defense team as well as the respondent team po will be submitting officially whatever documents they have, sino-sino ang mga witnesses nila po to be presented during the trial proper, which will start on July 6. July 6 po. And talking about the impeachment of Inday Sara Duterte or the trial itself, there are still a lot of issues which I think the parties concerned will have to look into, kagaya po, who will be the presiding officer of the impeachment trial of Inday Sara Duterte. We heard a lot of names. We heard about Senator Chis Escudero will be proposed by the majority senators to elect him or to appoint him as the presiding officer of the impeachment trial of Inday Sara Duterte. And we heard a lot of positive and negative reaction coming from different parties when it comes to the possibility or likelihood of Senator Chis Escudero to be the presiding officer or during the trial. One of the reasons is because he is a lawyer. He is a lawyer po. So far, under the majority group, spearheaded by Senate President Gatchalian, there are only two senator lawyers po. That is Chis Escudero, who just recently joined the majority group of Senate President Gatchalian. And the other one po is no other than Senator Kiko Pangilinan, who is also a lawyer. So the issue on presiding officer during the trial po is very important. It is very important because if he is not a lawyer, medyo mahirapan po ang presiding officer. In fact, under the Constitution, under the laws dyan po sa Senado, it is very clear that the presiding officer, during impeachment trial from Vice President and below should be the Senate President. And who is the Senate President? That is Senate President Sherwin Gatchalian. But unfortunately, he is not a lawyer and he do not have this kind of experience when it comes to handling court activities po because he is not a lawyer. He's a good lawmaker. He's a good lawmaker, but it makes a big difference being a good lawmaker and being a presiding officer during an impeachment trial from the vice president and below. Because if we are talking about impeachment trial for the president, the presiding officer should be the Chief Justice. Chief Justice. Yun po ang sabihin natin ang the Constitution, written in the Constitution. And whether the other issue is whether 16 votes or 2/3 to convict Inday Sara Duterte and 9 to acquit Inday Sara Duterte is another question po, which now being a hot issue, and let's see po what will happen. What will happen. So, alright, let's move on sa programa natin, and before going anywhere else, especially this issue of the impeachment trial, especially the issue of who will be the presiding officer during the impeachment trial of Inday Sara Duterte, let me share with you first an announcement. I already announced this earlier. I already announced this earlier about the scheduled po, my scheduled white ribbon rally to be held dyan po sa Pilipinas, dyan po sa Maynila, particularly dyan po sa People's Power Monument. When will it be? It will be on June 28, ibig sabihin po sa Sunday. So, expected na naman po, lahat ng mga kaibigan natin, mga policemen, will be very busy. And of course, ang mga concerned Filipinos, will be very busy attending itong expected to be attended by more than 10,000 participants in the White Ribbon Rally on Sunday. So let me share with you po ang announcement na made by the organizers po when it comes to this Sunday, sabihin natin Sunday rally to be held dyan po sa Manila. So let's watch and listen to this po. Sandali, let's watch and listen to this. I would like to shout muna tayo sa kaibigan natin, si Joseph Sosobrado, who is also watching itong programa natin dyan po sa Zamboanga. Kumusta kayo, mga kaibigan natin sa Zamboanga, si Joseph and ang mga kaibigan niya po and relatives niya po, mga Zamboangueños, I would like to say good morning, salamat pagi to each and every one of you. Nandito po ang announcement about the June 28 rally, June 28 rally, or that will be on Sunday. Let's watch and listen to this.
Magkakaroon tayo ng isang malakihang rally ngayong June 28, 2026. At ito ay gagawin natin sa People's Power Monument. Pinangungunahan ito ng Inter-Religious Leaders Council for National Transformation.
yun po, narinig natin that the rally on Sunday, June 28, will be called the White Ribbon March. Ibig sabihin po, this rally will be or is being organized by religious leaders po dyan sa Pilipinas. So, expected to be attended by more than 10,000 people or participants po coming from different sectors, religious groups po dyan sa Pilipinas. And yes, there's only one thing. They want to express ang disappointment nila ng mga Filipino po tungkol what is happening ngayon dyan po sa Pilipinas, specifically when we talk about the corruption in the Philippines. Again, I would like to remind each and every one of us, mga kababayan, kapatid at kaibigan, not only dito po sa Malaysia o dito po sa Kota Kinabalu, but also lahat mga overseas Filipino workers as well as lahat mga Filipinos in our beloved country of which we call the Philippines. Let us not forget the flood control scandal. No? Let us continue to urge our present government under the leadership of President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. to continue ang investigation on these flood control projects. What the Filipino wants is sino, who are the mastermind and those who participated in this very big corruption scandal in the history of the Philippines. We want to see all these people, politicians, no matter what post you are holding, be it the president, the vice president, senator, congressman, top government officials, governors, mayors, councilors, city councilors, municipal councilors, even down to the level of barangay level. Now, we want that if they are involved in corruption activities po, let's make sure that they will be punished. They will be put behind bars. This is what we are loudly shouting ngayon po ang mga Filipinos. Not only the Filipinos in Sabah, but I think many more Filipinos in many countries po, including our own country, the Philippines. What we want is to see ang mga mastermind. We want to see big fishes to be caught and put behind bars. We don't want to see only mga maliit na isda po, maliit isda. So, saan na po si Saldico? Nasaan na po? What is happening kay Martin Romualdez? What is happening ang case ni Senator Joel Villanueva? What is happening ang case ni Senator Chis Escudero? What is happening sa case ni Jinggoy Estrada? Ano pa po? What is happening ang mga kaso earlier announced by the Ombudsman, si Ombudsman Jesus Remulla, regarding filing of cases, building up cases against congressmen po, against congressmen named in the investigation. What is happening dyan po sa Blue Ribbon Committee? Sa Blue Ribbon Committee. We want to know, and we want whatever we lost money from these irresponsible, corrupt, greedy politicians natin po and other individuals, we want restitution. We want that our money will be returned back to us sa mga Filipinos po. Because these are hard-earned money ng mga taxpayers ng mga Filipinos po. While they are enjoying ang pera natin, ang mga anak nila po, ang pamilya nila, tayo po, dumating na po, mayroon na tayo, typhoon na naman sa Pilipinas, si Typhoon Francisco. Francisco po. So, mahirap na po. It will remind again, sana lang po, this typhoon will not be that strong, and walang mga casualties and damage of properties po. Ingat lang tayo po. Nandito na si Francisco. Si Francisco. So, yun. That is the thing that I want to share with you sa introduction ko dito sa programa ni Talk the Real Talk with Nico. So, this time around, punta na tayo po, regarding itong, again, issue ni presiding officer ng impeachment trial ni Inday Sara Duterte, which will be jumpstart sa July 6. July 6 po, next month. Sino kaya po? Pwede ba? Pwede ba? Is it possible for Senator Chis Escudero to be the presiding officer during the impeachment trial? Despite the Constitution says it must be the Senate President, of which sino po ang Senate President? That is Senate President Sherwin Gatchalian. Let me share with you itong video of attorney. I salute her, Maganda po mga explanation niya po of Attorney Regal Oliva. Let's watch and listen to the reaction or statement made by Attorney Regal Oliva on the issue of presiding officer during the impeachment trial of Inday Sara Duterte. Nandito po, let's watch and listen to this. Hold on po, sandali. Alright? Hold on po. And, okay, we have to, muna ito po. Arrange muna tayo ang, natin para, wala tayong problema. Alright, nandito. Let's watch and listen to this po.
Can Francis Chis Escudero validly sit as presiding officer during the impeachment proceedings of Vice President Sara Duterte? That is now one of the most important legal questions confronting the Senate. Let us begin with the law. The Constitution provides only one express rule on who should preside over an impeachment trial. Article 11, Section 3, Paragraph 6 states that when the President of the Philippines is on trial, the Chief Justice shall preside. But Vice President Sara Duterte is not the President. Therefore, the Constitution is silent on who shall preside. That silence is filled by the Senate rules on impeachment. And the rule is straightforward. The President of the Senate shall preside in all other cases of impeachment. The word used is shall, not may, not can, not upon designation by the majority. Shall. Under ordinary rules of statutory construction, that language is mandatory, which now raises the next question. Can the Senate majority amend the rules in order to allow Chis Escudero to act as presiding officer? Answer is yes, provided that the amendment itself is made in accordance with the procedure prescribed by the Senate rules. A majority of all the members may amend the impeachment rules. Legally speaking, therefore, there is a possible pathway, but that only leads to another question. If the majority believes that Chis Escudero is the more qualified person to preside over the impeachment court, then why not simply make him Senate President in the first place? That is where the logic begins to wobble. The explanation being whispered in political circles is obvious. Chis Escudero is a lawyer, Win Gatchalian is not. And impeachment proceedings are not ordinary legislative debates. They involve objections, motions, evidentiary questions, procedural challenges, constitutional issues, and interpretations of the impeachment rules that may determine the fate of a sitting vice president. Every ruling from the chair can become part of history. Every procedural error can become a constitutional controversy. Every mistaken ruling can become the basis of future legal challenges. Perhaps some believe that it would be unfair to place Senator Gatchalian in that position. Perhaps some believe that presiding over a historic impeachment trial requires not merely political leadership, but legal training and courtroom discipline. If that is the reasoning, then one cannot help but ask the obvious question. If the majority truly believes that a lawyer should preside over the impeachment court, then why did it not elect a lawyer as Senate President? Why go through through procedural gymnastics to arrive at a destination that could have been reached directly? Why create a situation where one senator holds the title while another effectively performs one of the most consequential functions attached to that office? These are not accusations, these are legitimate questions. Because if the objective is to ensure that the impeachment trial is conducted with competence, credibility, and minimal procedural flaws, then the more straightforward route would have been to place the lawyer in the position that the rules themselves recognize as presiding officer. At the end of the day, the issue is not whether Cheese Escudero is capable. Few would dispute his legal credentials. The issue is whether the path taken to place him behind the gavel is as sound as the legal expertise that supposedly justifies his selection. For in matters of constitutional significance, it is not enough to arrive at the correct destination. The route taken must also withstand legal scrutiny.
Alright, yan po, narinig natin si Attorney Regal Oliva. May punto siya po. I totally agree with Attorney Regal Oliva when it comes to this issue of choosing who will be the presiding officer during the impeachment trial of Inday Sara Duterte. That will start on July 6. July 6 po. Don't forget, July 6 is a red letter day para sa mga Filipinos po. Let's monitor itong impeachment trial ni Inday Sara Duterte. And yes, knowing the fact, itong grupo ni Senate President Gatchalian, knowing the fact that there is an impeachment of Inday Sara Duterte, they should have elected, they should have elected a Senate President who is a lawyer. Meron tayo dyan sa grupo nila, we have Kiko Pangilinan, who is also a lawyer. We have this, sabihin natin, si Cheese Escudero. Why elect Senate President Sherwin Gatchalian? I'm not against Senate President Gatchalian. I know he's a good lawmaker. He's a good lawmaker po, proven na yun po. But when it comes to this kind of issue, they already know that there is an impending impeachment trial of Inday Sara Duterte, and he's not a lawyer. Sana po ang grupo ni Gatchalian, sila Senator Tito Soto, sila Senator Ping Lacson, sila Senator Riza, at mga iba-iba pa mga senador sa majority group, sana po they elected ang lawyer to be the Senate President po of the group. And mahirap din po, no? A good lawmaker and a lawyer presiding ang impeachment trial makes a lot of difference po. So mayroon din mga positive and negative reaction coming from several Filipinos or from different groups dyan po sa community o sa nation natin, mga Filipinos po, about the possibility or most likelihood magiging, sabihin natin, presiding officer si Cheese Escudero. Later on, I'm going to share with you po ang statement, reaction made by another lawyer. Another lawyer po, si Attorney Mike Operario. Operario po, he commented on the issue of this, sabihin natin, presiding officer. Presiding officer dyan po sa trial ni Inday Sara Duterte. Shoutout muna tayo kay LB Arnaiz. Likewise, good morning to our friend si Joseph Sosobrado. Dyan po sa Zamboanga. Sabi ni LB Arnaiz, Shalom. God bless you. And it's raining in Kota Kinabalu. Ingat-ingat lang tayo po, no? When we go out from our homes or if we have some appointment outside, no? Ingat lang tayo dahil umuulan na naman. Siguro this is part of Typhoon Francisco dyan po sa Pilipinas. So, in the meantime, nandito po ang reaction coming from Attorney Mike Operario po, no? Let's watch and listen to this.
point na
Alright? Nandito po. Let's watch and listen to Attorney Mike Operario. Okay? Nandito.
or elect nila as presiding officer sa impeachment ni Sara Duterte. Because, not because he's a lawyer, kasi si Pangilinan lawyer din eh. Pero bakit siya ang parang pinipilit? I think, kung siya man ay iuupo dyan, it is not for purposes of efficiency, but for purposes just of being cruel. Malupit itong mga mag-a-appoint sa kanya. Because, kung matatandaan nyo, siya yung presiding officer that remanded the case back to the House of Representatives. And then eventually it led to a Supreme Court case. Dahil nga dito, he was perceived now as a pro-Sara. Parang binangga niya ang kagustuhan ng Malacanang noon. Now it appears that Malacanang is back with a vengeance. At ngayon, pupersahin nila si Jesus Escudero na bawiin mo yung sarili mo. Kailangan ikaw mag-preside dito to make sure that, Sara Duterte will be impeached, or at least parang papalabasin na magiging partial si Jesus Escudero. It appears that the people behind nung paglipat ni Jesus Escudero sa kampo ni Lawin Gatchalian are not just out for vengeance, they are out to humiliate si Jesus Escudero. And these are the signs of being ruthless people. Hindi sapat sa kanila na kumampi sa kanila si Cheese. Kailangan ipapahiya pa nila yung tao.
Alright, yun po, narinig natin ang negative opinion of Attorney Mike what is his name? Mike Operario po, who is also a blogger. Maganda din niya po ang mga issues siya. Normally he will raise dyan po sa social media platform natin. So, mahirap po, no? Ano kaya, will he accept si Senator Cheese Escudero itong position as the presiding officer or not? Remember, mahirap yan po, no? You will be putting yourself sa front line, no? When it comes to the during that trial po. Kunting mistake, people will be criticizing you. Will be criticizing ang presiding officer. But anyway, let's see po what will happen. Pwede ba yun? They can amend. According to Attorney Regal Oliva, yes, they can amend, but it will raise other issues po. And will the group of Senator Alan Peter Cayetano will oppose kung sakali si Senator Cheese Escudero will be appointed or elected as the presiding officer? Let's see what will happen. Shoutout muna tayo kay Mary Lou Pentodio, who is also watching itong programa natin, Nick Talk, the Real Talk with Nico. Here is another video clip of Attorney Mike, and this time he is commenting on ano nangyari, what is happening kay Senator Cheese Escudero and si Senator Joel Villanueva, who jumped sa kampo ni Gatchalian last week po, no? And because of the move made by Joel Villanueva, so natapos na po ang leadership struggle dyan po sa Senado, and si Senate President Gatchalian was officially elected to head the Senate as Senate President po. Let's watch and listen to the statement made by Attorney Mike Operario. Operario po, nandito. Let's watch and listen to this. Opinion. Only, ito po, mga opinion lang po ni Attorney Mike. Opinion. So, kayo na bahala po to, if you want to make any comments po.
Nakita nila ito. But, masaya kaya si Senator Joel? Well, definitely not. Kitang-kita mo sa kanyang body language, sa itsura niya, nung pinupuri siya ni Ping Lacson, sa kanyang sa body language nila, nang lumipat sila, si Jesus Escudero was the 12th member, pero he didn't look happy. Bukod dun sa kanyang itsura, ng pag-attend niya sa session, didn't even talk to anyone. Hanggang ngayon, hindi siya masyado nagpa-participate sa proceedings. But there is something I've noticed kay Jesus Escudero na which may have missed yung inyong paningin. Ever since lumipat siya dito sa kampo nila Gatchalian, have you noticed? Palaging black ang suot niya. Dati yan, panay puti or light beige ang kulay niya. Because payat kasi si Jesus Escudero. And so, he usually likes lighter colors like me. Kasi yung itim nakakapayat lalo yan. Para sa akin, parang nakikita ko, is he putting on a silent protest? Is he crying out for help? Is he in trouble? He couldn't do anything. Kaya ngayon, he's sending out the signal na naka-black na lang siya as a form of protest. Could be. Who knows? But, napuna ko lang. And,
Alright, yan. Narinig natin ang observation ni Attorney Mike Operario po tungkol kay Senator Chis Escudero and of course Senator Joel Villanueva. If you notice po, left and right ang bashing sa dalawang senator ito po after they they change camp from Cayetano to Gatchalian group. No? Tuloy pa rin ang mga bashing sa dalawang senator ito po. And let's see po what will happen. Let's see what will happen. I will continue to monitor ang sitwasyon tungkol sa political scenario natin dyan po sa Pilipinas. This time around, mayroon din ako isang video clip tungkol sa issue pa rin ng corruption sa Pilipinas. And it is coming from, it is a news published and aired dyan po sa Pilipinas, and I'm referring to itong statement or news about former congressman si Attorney Mike Rama, regarding itong mga issues natin sa Pilipinas, especially itong corruption. It's worthwhile listening to the statement made by former congressman Mike Rama. Nandito po. Let's watch and listen to this. Alright, nandito. Sandali po. And, alright. Sandali. Alright, nandito. Alright. Okay, nandito na po.
Sama-sama tayo.
yan ang panawagan ni former Mayor's League of the Philippines President Mike Rama sa mga local chief executives sa buong bansa. Anya, panahon na para magsalita ang mga lokal na opisyal sa gitna ng paghahanap ng publiko ng accountability sa mga nasa likod ng flood control anomaly. Idinagdag pa rito ang labis na politika sa pagitan ng mga Marcos at Duterte. Giit ni Attorney Rama, alam ng mga local chief executive na matindi ang korupsyon ngayon sa gobyerno. Dahil dito, sinabi niyang responsibilidad ng mga lokal na opisyal na pumanig sa katotohanan at hindi sa patronage politics.
Kailan ba tayo tatayo? Na hindi na tayo makatayo kasi bininta na natin ating kaluluwa.
Please. Ayon kay Attorney Rama, na dating mayor ng Cebu City, hindi niya pinagsisihan ang tinawag niyang political persecution na kanyang nararanasan matapos niyang tutulan noon ang pagsusulong ng People's Initiative o PI para baguhin ang konstitusyon. Hindi rin daw niya pinagsisihan ang pagbibigay ng permit sa 2024 Maisog Rally na dinaluhan ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Dito na nagsimula ang tinawag niyang panggigipit ng administrasyon dahil sa kanyang pagsuporta sa mga Duterte.
Simple lang ang diktum natin. Noon pang konsyal tayo, public service above self. Ibig dumating ka, magka-mayor, once a councilor is always a councilor. And what is the dictum? What is the motto? Yung councilor, public service above self. Hindi yung service to yourself.
Nilina naman ni Attorney Rama na hindi siya nananawagang pabagsakin ng gobyerno. Bagkus ang hinihiling lang niya sa mga lokal na opisyal ay manindigan para sa tama at magsalita kung may nakikitang mali. Sa buong Pilipinas, mahigit sa 1,600 ang kabuang bilang ng municipal at city mayors. Ganon din ang vice mayors. Habang nasa 13,000 mahigit naman ang mga municipal at city councilors.
when you say dissenting, speak out. Hindi ko naman sinasabi, go against the government. No, speak out. Because if you believe that the government is doing wrong, speak out. Be counted. We will be remembered this era.
Para sa Diyos at sa Pilipinas kung mahal, MJ Monga.
Correct. Totally agreed. I totally agree with former Congressman Mike Rama. If we see that the government is not doing the right thing po, let us speak out. No, it's not that we want to remove them from the government position, but let us speak out and tell them that what you're doing is wrong. No, nahihirapan na ang mga tao. No, rather than we keep quiet. And it is for this reason siguro po, kung may mga time tayo sa Sunday, sa June 28, let us participate. Na? Kung okay naman ang health natin, why don't we, especially ang Gen Z, no? Ang mga youth natin po, participate. If you agree that you're not happy with what is happening ngayon dyan po sa Pilipinas, how the government is managing the country, then why not go and participate dyan po sa rally, peaceful rally, no? Sa monumento ng People's Power sa EDSA po on Sunday po. Don't forget kung okay naman, why don't we participate itong rally po. And let's hope that this will be a peaceful rally and kailangan niyan po. This is our right. Our right po, right ng mga Pilipino. We put them sa posisyon, we can remove them sa posisyon. Tayo ang boss ng mga government elected leaders natin. Don't forget. Okay, mayroon din tayo dito tungkol sa issue ni Senator Jinggoy Estrada. Senator Jinggoy Estrada po. Ano ba ito? Issue about Senator Jinggoy Estrada. Hold on po.
Walang pinasok na amendments o insertions si Senator Jinggoy.
You listen carefully po about the case of Senator Jinggoy Estrada. May report tayo dito po coming from the Philippine mainstream media. Let's watch and listen to this po. Let's watch and listen to this. Tungkol sa kaso ni Senator Jinggoy Estrada.
Walang pinasok na amendments o insertions si Senator Jinggoy Estrada noong bicameral conference committee meetings para sa 2025 national budget. Yan ang tugon ng Senate Legislative Budget Research and Monitoring Office sa subpoena dosis tecum ng Office of the Ombudsman. Ayon kay LBRMO Director General Irene Palanca, walang legislative record o anumang official document na direktang nag-uugnay kay Senador Jinggoy sa anumang pagpapago sa 2025 General Appropriations Act. Dagdag ni Palanca na anumang amendments ng mga senador ay kinoconsolidate ng Senate Committee on Finance na siyang tatalakayin sa plenaryo. At kapag naaprobahan na niya sa plenaryo ang consolidated amendments, ay hindi ito attributed sa sino mang senador kundi sa Senado bilang institusyon. Suportado naman ni Senate President Pro Tempore Panfilo Lacson ang tugon ng LBRMO sa Ombudsman. Gid ni Lacson, hindi si Senador Jinggoy ang nasa likod ng appropriations para sa ilang flood control project sa ilalim ng aprobadong 2025 national budget. Bahagian niya ito ng kontrobersyal na 142 billion peso insertions na di umano'y ginawa ni former Senate President Jesus Escudero sa small group BICAM nang bumisita siya sa Kamara Nobyembre ng 2024. Unang inilabas ng Politico.com ang screenshot na kuha ng CCTV sa Kamara ng pagbisita ni Escudero at 30 ng Nobyembre 2024 na isang holiday. Inidepensa ni Escudero na bahagi ng kanyang pagbisita noon ay para tiyaking maayos ang lagay ng mga staff ng BICAM Committee na inaayos ang disagreeing provisions ng bersyon ng Senado at ng Kamara. Una nang sinabi ni dating DPWH Undersecretary Roberto Bernardo sa isa sa mga pagdinig ng Senate Blue Ribbon Committee na isa umano si Estrada sa tumanggap ng 25% na kickback mula sa halos 2 bilyong pisong halaga ng flood control projects.
Alright, then the question now is, ano ba, safe na ba si Jinggoy or Senator Jinggoy Estrada or hindi? Based on the news report lumabas dyan po sa Maynila. Now, before I'm going to end itong programa natin for today, June 22, Monday na po, let me read you a news article coming from Philstar regarding ang kaibigan natin si Francisco po. Typhoon Francisco. Nandito po. Batanes and parts of Cagayan were placed under signal number 1. Signal number 1 po were placed under signal number 1 today po, Monday morning, June 22, as Typhoon Francisco, or international name as Mikhala, continued to intensify east of northern Luzon and began enhancing the southwest monsoon, the State Weather Bureau said. In Pagasa's early morning advisory, today po, the area under signal number 1 are Batanes, the northern or northeastern portion of Cagayan, specifically Gonzaga and Santa Ana, and the eastern portion of Babuyan Islands, including Babuyan, Didicas, and Camiguin Island. Pagasa said that these areas have faced strong winds of 39 to 61 kilometers per hour within 36 hours, with minimal to minor threat to life and properties. Francisco was last located 715 kilometers east of Tuguegarao City, Cagayan, as of 4 a.m., packing maximum sustained wind of 140 kilometers per hour near the center and gusts of up to 170 kilometers per hour. The typhoon was moving northwest at 30 km per hour with strong to typhoon force winds extending to 420 kilometers from its center. Pagasa said Francisco is expected to enhance the southwest monsoon, locally known as Habagad. Under its 5 a.m. weather advisory, Pagasa said Batanes and Cagayan may experience 50 to 100 millimeters of rain on Tuesday or bukas ito po, June 23rd and Wednesday, June 24. Weather Bureau warned that the rainfall may be higher in mountainous and elevated areas. Impacts may also be worse in areas that have already received significant rainfall. Local disaster risk reduction and management officers were advised to take necessary measures to protect life and properties. So yan po ang latest updates natin tungkol kay Typhoon Francisco, no? Typhoon Francisco. Let's hope and pray na it will not be a super typhoon po, no? Super typhoon. Dahil mabigat po kung super typhoon and sana we will not experience loss of lives po and ang daming damage to properties po. To our friends, mga kabayan, kaibigan at kapatid natin dyan po sa Pilipinas, especially those affected areas, no? Nasa affected areas, please monitor the situation, ang rising water sa area ninyo, and please immediately do not refuse any directive advisory given to you by the local authorities for your own safety, para safety natin po, no? And dito na tayo po, typhoon na naman tayo. Again, it will remind us of itong flood control scandal. That's why let us not forget, let us continue to urge, itong gobyerno natin, no? To make sure that itong investigation ng flood control scandal will continue and make sure that those who are involved dyan po sa scandal will be punished, will be put behind bars. We don't need promises from the government now. No? Pagod na kami. We are very tired of listening mga empty promises ng gobyerno, and what we want is action. Put your words into action. Turn your words into action po. No? And that is what ang clamor clamor ng mga Filipinos ngayon po. Sobra na po ang sakripisyo, ang sacrifices, ang kalbaryo ng mga Filipino po. And with the coming of itong mga typhoon, remember, ang Philippines will always based on records, will experience 15 to 20 typhoons every year. And this is the time, wet season na tayo po. So, ingat na tayo po when it comes to downfall. And dito sa Kota Kinabalu, we are experiencing every afternoon po, umuulan dito. Umuulan dito po. And maybe one of the reasons why we are experiencing rain for the past few days po, maybe, and expected again. In fact, this morning, we experienced rain. We experienced rain in Kota Kinabalu. And maybe, who knows, maybe this is part of Typhoon Francisco dyan po sa Pilipinas. So to my friends dito po, kaibigan, kababayan at kapatid ko po, mga Filipinos, dito po sa Sabah, particularly dito po sa Kota Kinabalu, very specific sa mga flood-prone areas dito po sa Kota Kinabalu, ingat tayo po. Let's continue to monitor ang tubig sa mga areas natin and listen to the advisory given by our local authorities po. So today, continuation na naman ng pre-trial conference dyan po sa Pilipinas, and I will continue to monitor the situation, and kung sakali mayroon tayong mga latest updates tungkol itong pre-trial conference, then I'll make sure po that kayo po, mga followers dito sa Nick Talk, the Real Talk with Nico, you will be properly informed po. Because I believe that you deserve itong mga updates, developments dyan po sa Pilipinas. And nandito lang ako po. Nandito lang si Nick Talk to give you ang latest updates tungkol sa Pilipinas. So with this, siguro hanggang dito na lang muna ang programa natin for today. And once again, I would like to say thank you very much for making me a part of your day-to-day. Hidup Malaysia. Sababole, mabuhay ang Pilipinas, peace on earth. I'll see you in my next episode. Bye. You take care. And God bless the Philippines. God bless Malaysia. God bless us all. Bye. Ingat. I love you.